Navigating heartbreak is one of the most difficult things you will ever have to do in your life. All of us have been there, but it doesn't make it any easier unless we know that it's not about us personally. And in the case of 35-year-old Adele being broken up with by 38-year-old divorced dad Rafael, it is definitely not her. And my explaining why he broke up with her helps Adele so much. And if you are in a situation where you have suffered heartbreak and not known what it is, thinking that it might be you, what you did, or something of the sort, this episode will help you greatly to get past that notion, move forward in your life, knowing most of the time that you will hear from that man again, and that is your chance to get back with him better. There are no guarantees in life nor in love, but when we know it's not about us, we free ourselves from heartbreak and suffering that is needless. And in this episode, you will discover what it is for 35-year-old Adele that makes a lot of sense if you have had heartbreak yourself. So without further delay, let's get right to this episode with Adele.
I feel like you've gotten me unstuck. I really needed that framework for going forward, and I feel like you gave that to me.
Whatever I've been doing hasn't been working. Might as well try a different strategy. Thanks to you, Paula. I'm glad I found you.
Thank you so much, Paula. I really do truly appreciate you. This was awesome.
Sick of sacrificing or settling in your romantic life? Welcome to Make Him Wonder with Coach Paula Grooms, where women struggling in real relationships ask the expert. Unscripted, unfiltered, understandable coaching conversations to help passionate women succeed in love.
Hi there, and welcome to Make Him Wonder. I'm your host, Coach Paula, a dating and relationship coach for women, social worker, and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. I help you find a Mr. Right, get an ex back, or grow an existing relationship with a man you truly desire so you create the relationship of your dreams and level up to the complete commitment you totally deserve. My guest today is 35-year-old Adele, who returns to Make Him Wonder to ask me about the possibility of rekindling a relationship with 38-year-old divorced father Rafael. Adele recently moved, and after talking to me about a year ago, wants to do things differently now that she has a fresh start in a new city. Adele reports that she tried to follow my advice and not sleep with Rafael on the first date, and I want to hear about that. And about a month into dating, Rafael took Adele to a party. It was then that Adele was triggered by a female friend of Rafael's who appeared to be romantically interested in him, and was a bit rude to Adele. This sparked a series of talks with Rafael and events that ended up with him initially saying he was ready for a girlfriend, only to pull back and state that he wanted to see other people. The two have since split up, and Adele comes back on Make Him Wonder to get my coaching on if it's possible to restart things with Rafael, and if so, how she can do that, and in general, how she can stay positive in dating and not become overly attached to an outcome. Welcome back, Adele.
Hi, Paula.
Tell me, how long ago was this breakup with Rafael?
I think it's 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah.
Tell us about the breakup. How did it go down?
Well, he went in a business trip, like for a month. It was really important, and then he wrote back, and then he told me he wanted to see me. He was afraid that I was upset or something like that.
So when he was away on this trip, I assume you were texting, talking, calling. What was it like?
Well, he was the one who was reaching out, like a few texts and sort of like that, but I understood he was, I follow your advice. I didn't reach back. Only if he reached back, I wrote. And then it was kind of, how are you, and stuff like that, but he was really busy, so I was busy with my life also. So I didn't know when exactly he was returning. And then he wrote me a message saying he was afraid I was upset or something, and I was not. I told him like I was not so upset. I just wanted him to call me, and then he called, and then he arranged like a coffee date so we can meet, and then we met. But I understood that he was really, I don't know, stressed on the date. He was looking like a boss went over him or something like that. I didn't understand why. And then he was telling me all these feelings and confusions, and I don't know, about his family, about a lot of problems. And I was just listening to him, trying to understand what was going on. And then he kind of told me that he was not ready to be exclusive, and he wanted to have his freedom to maybe see other people. And at first I didn't get angry. I just wanted to understand the whole conversation so as I could, I don't know, digest and not react. And then after that, he wanted to do like a dinner, late dinner or something the same day, but he couldn't because he was with his daughter. And then I don't know, I took a day to really think about what he said. And then I understood that he wanted to, I don't know, open the relationship or something like that. So I wrote a quick message saying, I understand that you wanted to have the freedom to see other people. I want a full relationship. I want a full, like a friend, a lover, and somebody to be there. So if it's not what you want, I totally I would miss you deeply, and that was it. And then he replied saying this was really special. He knew that our connection was really special, but he wasn't feeling all in or something like that. And then I wrote another message saying that for me it's not about talking about the relationship, but I don't want to talk about the relationship, but I want to be in a relationship, and it's not what you say but what you do that is important. And then I agree with him that, yes, it is really special, but if after this he doesn't want this, I won't agree, but I will respect that. And that was it. That was my last message.
Okay. And since then, you have not been in contact at all?
Exactly. I know he sees my stories, like on Instagram, but I don't follow him. I know when you can see on Instagram, but then I haven't said anything. I erased his number because I know my weakness. When maybe if I drink wine or something, maybe I will be tempted to contact him, but then I decided to erase his number not to be tempted. And
okay. So that I can understand the full context of things, tell me how the relationship started.
It started on Bumble, we matched, and then he wrote, and then we went on a date. It was really fun date. We had something to eat, and we talk a lot because he's not from this country, and he's living here 16 years, and it was the same years that I used to live in another country. So it was really, for me, it was really special because he understood what is to be in a new country, in a new town. So we really clicked, and we really have a wonderful first date. And then he wanted to kiss me, but I said no because I wasn't feeling ready. I told him I found that he was really smart and really hot, but I wanted to take things slow, and then he respected that. And then after that, he was really persistent. I catch a cold, so I couldn't go out all that week because I catch a pretty bad cold. So he was really insistent on going out, but I said no. Like, I love to, but I'm not feeling well. And then we went out for like lunch and stuff like that. Like, really, I was really proud of myself to take things slow. And then after that, really entire month together, like seeing each other maybe twice a week. We went to music concerts, and I don't know, we did a lot. We even did like a road trip with his mom, who lives kind of half here, half there. It was really fun and interesting to be like with his mom and to know the other side of him.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice. But then on the same date that, because we went on a quick road trip with her, the next day we went to this party. And then that was when, I don't know, I thought it was a lot. And then he told me that it was the first time he introduced somebody since his divorce. He has been divorced 3 years ago. But he told me this after the party. So at first I didn't understand why all his friends, they were asking me like, oh, how did you guys meet? Everybody was like super excited, and I was like a little overwhelmed about all these questions because I don't know, I didn't know how to answer that. Everybody was so curious, and I was like, okay, I wasn't aware that it was a big deal for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met the friend. She's divorced also, and she lives like in the same neighborhood. So, and then I say hey, and then she started to talk about the kids and all these, I don't know, details, really specific details that I really found it a little rude because I don't know what they are talking about. So then, and then I don't know, I felt like he was trying really hard to be my friend. It was really weird. I got insecure because I thought maybe there's something going on, and I don't want to be the, I don't know, the third person or something. And then we went home, and I talked about it, just like I wanted to make sure I was not stepping into another, I don't know, relationship where it's weird or it's not clear, something is not clear. And then he reassured me. He told me that he wasn't interested in her. He was just a friend. And then we talked about being exclusive, and then he said yes. And then, because I asked him, like, do you want to see other people? Do you want me to see other people? And he said no. And then we agree on being exclusive.
I see. When did you start sleeping together?
I think we started sleeping together a week later or something like that.
After you decided?
I think I don't remember. I think that was the night we slept together, I think.
So you did not sleep together until you had a talk about exclusivity.
Yes. Yes.
Great. Okay, so you had the talk, you have sex, then what happened, the next day?
Well, the next day he was super sweet, and then he made coffee, and then I had to go home, and he had to work, and I think it was pretty great. I think we slept after, like, we saw each other and everything was great, but then he went on this business trip. There was 2 trips, one short and one really long, and he told me about this. So the short one, he went back, he was really tired, but he wanted to see me. He reached out. So I went to his place because he was really tired. And then we had some beers, I think. And then it happened that I wanted to play music on his phone, and then he gave me his phone, and then it opened up when he unlocked it, and the Bumble matches were there, and I was like really, I don't know, I was really confused because we talked about this, and then I saw the matches, and I mean, I know the app, so I know when you're online, I know it's not I don't know, you're on, I don't know, matching people. I just felt uncomfortable. He saw me, that I saw it, and it was awkward, but I didn't know how to react, if I get really mad or not, and I was afraid of my own angry, like to be super angry, and I don't know, I didn't know what to do.
So what did you do?
I tried to, I don't know, breathe first, because before that he was talking to me about, since we had this talk about being exclusive, he was worried that he was going to disappoint me or something like that.
So before you found this on the phone, that he was active on the account, he brought up, when you went over there that night, he brought up that he was worried he was going to disappoint you?
Yes, so I really found it strange, and then he told me that he was going away for a month with her daughter, and apparently when they came back, he was going to stay 1 month more with her, and he just found out that the mother wasn't going to be there, so it was like a surprise because normally they do 1 week, 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
So he was all confused and he was afraid we wouldn't have time like to see each other as we have seen each other ever since. I was kind of surprised, and then I saw the Bumble thing and I was upset, but at the same time I had a pretty rough day, so I wasn't secure about my reaction, because I was like, I don't want to leave, I don't want to make a scene, but at the same time I know I have to talk about this. But then the next day I went early. Obviously I was upset, but I didn't know how to handle that, so I was like, okay, maybe I have to just take a break.
I'm confused about the daughter and wife thing. First, tell me about the daughter and the wife, ex-wife.
Sorry, it wasn't clear. He lives here, and the mom's daughter lives here also, but they were going to go away for a month with the daughter, and apparently the mother was taking a surprise holidays and wasn't returning. So he found out that when he was going away with his daughter, in the returning part, she wasn't going to be there to split 1 week, 1 week. So he just found out that the ex-wife was taking like a surprise holidays or whatever, and he was going to stay the month with the daughter in the trip, plus a month here with her 100%.
So, because of that, he felt that he would have no time to devote to a relationship with you. Is that correct?
Yes, he told me that. He was afraid.
Got it. So he said, prior to you finding the Bumble app on his phone, he said, I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint you because of this trip, and I'm not going to be able to devote any time to you for the next 2 months. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Then, what was your reaction when he said, I'm afraid I'm not going to have any time to devote to a relationship with you? What did you say or do?
I think at first I listened to understand what was the problem, because I just found out like him about the second month being 100% with her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I told him that it's all question of organization. I don't see where's the problem.
What did he say to that?
Well, he was kind of reassured in a way, but in another way, I think he wanted like a clear path or something. He was really overwhelmed about the work, and I really felt like he was really tired and really overwhelmed about anything. So I think I tried to listen more than to talk, to really understand what's the real problem. And then obviously when I found out the Bumble situation, the only thing I thought, it was like, oh, this is nonsense. This is just an excuse to see other people and not. So I was like, I really felt that maybe he says one thing and does the other. That was my first thinking.
Yes, and I'm going to explain something that's very important here for every woman to know, regardless of the man's prior situation, but especially if he has been married and has failed, quote unquote, in his mind via divorce, and there's a child involved. Men do not have the bandwidth for relationships that women do. We could go into all the reasons why that is, but it's easiest to understand under the puppy principle that in order for us to adopt a puppy, we love them all, but to adopt one, we have to be in the right space to devote what we feel is the right amount of time, finances, commitment to it. So no matter how much we love a puppy, we will not adopt one without being completely ready. Now, this can be upsetting if we fall in love with one and we want it, but we know I don't have the right space, I'm going to be taking a trip abroad, I don't have the money in case the puppy gets sick, etc., etc., etc. So we won't typically adopt if those are the conditions. This is the way a man is with a relationship because he loves all women. Big, small, short, tall, blonde, brunette, redhead, whatever. They love us all just like we love all puppies. So because he doesn't have the bandwidth and cannot think outside the box, so to speak, meaning that what is right in front of him as the male hunter he is, he has to focus on work and the child, and was going to be away for 2 months. So it would be like a puppy is presented to you, you fall in love with it, and then you find out you're going to be away for 2 months. Perhaps you would think, what can I do to make this work? But typically, we would say, it's heartbreaking, but I'm not going to be able to take the puppy because I'm going to be gone for 2 months dealing with whatever it is. So instead, you think, all right, puppy has to be free to get adopted by somebody else, and I need to be free to go on my trip. Sad, but that's what it's going to be. This can be very disconcerting to us because we are not puppies, we are people. But it's the same idea and feeling for the man. The right thing to do is not get in a relationship whereby I cannot give the requisite time and attention that my quote-unquote puppy deserves. In other words, you wouldn't adopt one when you cannot be home with it, take care of it in all ways, be responsible to it and for it. This is the male mind because men are right on top of time. They do not think through time. In other words, if this were reversed, we would go to the man and say, I'm going to be gone for 2 months, but this relationship is really important to me. It's just 2 months. We'll work it out. We'll do video calls. Maybe you can come and visit. You just see it through time. You see the whole picture, and it's very different. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But what can happen when we're in the situation you were in? You immediately felt that he's either lying or he doesn't really want you enough. Because seeing the Bumble app, you're figuring he's just looking for somebody else and that you don't really fit the bill. Did you feel that way?
For sure.
Okay. Here's another thing that is hard for us, but again, when we see it under the lens of the puppy principle, we get it. Men amuse themselves and self-soothe with women, just like we amuse ourselves and self-soothe by watching cute puppy videos or kitten videos. Maybe it's babies. Whatever it is, we are scrolling through looking at, in this analogy, cute puppy videos. We have no intention of adopting any of those either, but it soothes us in the moment. Now, yes, we add in the sexual desire of the man. He may be looking at you as woman for full relationship. You are in the Madonna category of Freud's Madonna-whore dichotomy. You are relationship material, girlfriend, wife, mother material. He can be looking at the other quote-unquote puppies for fun and sexual gratification. And because he felt, I can't adopt now because I'm going to be going away for 2 months, I'll look for the others for that. Does that make sense in the context of what you're dealing with?
Yes. I also wrote him when he was away once when I felt that I needed to talk about the Bumble thing because I was more...
So you said yes. Tell me then what the conversation was when you did discover the Bumble thing and what happened that night.
I didn't feel like I was strong enough to deal with that night, but then I decided to, calm myself and just confront the situation later. So I wrote him that I wanted to talk about the Bumble. I wanted to stay. I met him, and then I was strong enough to talk about it because, like I said, I was having a really rough day also.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was the day that I found out my mom had cancer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, sorry. It was the day before we we knew the actual results, but we found out the next day. But I already felt that it was going to change my life, like the intuition. So we stayed there. I stayed there, and then I talked about the exam of my mom, and then I cried. He comforted me. Before that, we tried to have sex, but I think we were in two different places. So then we just slept, and I couldn't sleep because I wasn't sure about what was the next step to do.
Sure.
And then the next morning he was like, "Oh, I wrote you when I'm at the airport and I want to see you back." But obviously I was upset, so I was like, "Do whatever you want." I was like, "Yeah, sure, if you want. I don't care."
So what he did was say, "I'm going to write to you when I'm at the airport and when I'm away."
Yes.
Okay. And you just said, whatever you'd like.
Yes, I said, "Do whatever you want. If you want to write me, write me. If you don't, it's up to you."
And what did he say to that?
And then he said, "I want to write you. I will write you." I was like, "Okay." But obviously I felt that I was a little broken-hearted because of the Bumble situation, but at the same time, I didn't know how to handle it, so I was like, "Just leave and you will see later."
Right.
And then I wrote him like 2 weeks after he was gone. He wrote me. He wrote me on the airport, and then obviously the next day I found out my mom had cancer, so I told him, and then he told me like, "Oh, I will be there for you." But obviously one part of me wanted to be passive-aggressive and say, I wanted to say to him, "Says the man who has the Bumble account." But then I trained myself because I was like, this is not important. The most important is my mom and to be there for her. And then I was like, I will be patient with myself in order to have this talk. I have to calm down because I'm angry at life or the world, and it doesn't matter anymore, right? So then I wrote him two weeks after he was gone, telling him that I couldn't sleep and I wanted to talk about the Bumble situation. When I wanted to play music in his phone, and then I found out the Bumble matches. I really felt uncomfortable, and it really made me confused.
Mm-hmm.
I told him that I was feeling that, and maybe he says one thing and he does the other. And then he wrote back saying that he admires that I'm super direct and that I was right, that he understood because he has a therapist, that he has like a Bumble addiction about the validation that the matches gave to you. And he was really sorry and he was really ashamed. And then he told me again about the troubles, about the family, the ex-wife and the family he was visiting and the startup and all these troubles. And then I told my mom, and my mom just told me, like, you will figure out, just be positive and set him in the now. So I told him, like, good luck with your presentation about the company. We will figure it out. Let's have positive thoughts. And then he was really happy.
Mm-hmm.
About that. He told me, like, oh, this is wind under my how you say the expression, wind under my wings.
Yes.
And then I was like, okay, there's no point to like write, or I want to see him. And then he came back. He wrote me a big message saying thank you for the support, everything went well, and then he wanted to see me. So I was pretty excited that he was the one reaching out and we were going to see each other.
Mm-hmm.
But then he wrote me something like, I'm afraid, like, how are you? I haven't heard from you. I am afraid that you're mad. He told me this by text message. And then,
how long had it been?
Since when?
What prompted him to write, I'm afraid that you're mad? Was it that you went silent for a number of days? And
I don't know why he thought of that, but when he wrote me, this is wind under my wings, I went silent because, like you said, just wait it out. But I wasn't mad. I just was silent and busy with my life. And then when he wrote me that, I really laughed because I was like, no, I'm not mad. And then I told him, like, if you want to call, you can call. And then he called me, and then we talked a little bit, and then he said, like, okay, maybe we can grab coffee tomorrow and it will be better. And I was like, sure, tomorrow it happens that I'm free, so sure. And then I went to the coffee, and then he was all looking sad and, I don't know, like worried. And on top of that, we crossed paths with his ex-mother-in-law in the coffee shop.
Uh-huh.
I was like, okay. I think because they were looking after the daughter.
I see.
I think it was, but it always happened. The impossible things did always happen, like in a good way. I don't know how, but it always seems to me that somebody knows somebody or everybody is connected. So I told him that before.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talk. He talks a lot. I listen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told him like I wanted just to spend time together. And again, I don't see the problem. I know he was all emotional and stuff. Yeah. And he told me he was afraid that I was mad because his ex-wife was always mad, and he felt like he was always mad. So I grabbed his hand and told him, like, I know you have a past. I have a past too. I'm not the kind of woman who is like lashing out. I don't lash out because I like when people respect me, and I respect people. And even if I'm mad, I would never lash out because I don't like to be like that. I never be like that, and I don't like to be people who are violent. I don't like that. So whatever it is, you can tell me. I won't be like a crazy lady.
Mm-hmm.
And then he breathed really deeply, and he's like, okay, because I was afraid, because I don't know, I can see that my past is like reaching out, and I'm thinking, like, I think he thinks he's not ready or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told him, like, I understand, I also have a past, and if you want to succeed in this, we have to be in the present and to agree that is another person and to be open.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, he told me he was going to try to make dinner reservation tonight, but since we saw the ex-mother-in-law, he's thinking they won't babysit the daughter, which I thought it was obvious. And then after, I didn't hear from him until late at night, but then I was in a birthday party, so I told him, like, don't worry. And then the next day, I told my mom about the conversation, and she got really mad because she's like, he's stringing you along. He's saying you that he wants to see you, but apparently he wants to see other people. So I don't know. I wrote him, like, I understood this from this conversation. I understand you want your freedom, but I want a whole relationship. I want the whole package.
Mm-hmm.
If this is not what you want, I'll miss you deeply. And then
I see that you allowed for that to kind of cloud, that you felt what your mom had said was true, that he was somehow, quote unquote, using you.
yes, and I mean, I promised, since the last time we talked, I promised myself not to be in a gray area,
Mm-hmm.
strong enough to say what I want. Because when we talk on the other story, I think I was really afraid to say what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you're going to say what you want, and you're going, like you always say, the player situation, the basketball thing, the James.
Oh, we're the opponent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought of that. I'm like, no, I don't want to agree in something that I'm not. I don't know. I don't think I deserve to be half girlfriend, half something special.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you wrote this, and then he wrote back what, or he said what? Did he answer it?
Yes, he answered it, like, I think the night or the next day. I don't remember. He said, "Oh, I'm really glad that you're telling me what you want," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, "I know that what we have is really special."
Mm-hmm.
And then at first I read it, and I didn't read it until the end, when WhatsApp shows you the see more or something. So I was like, let's have a try. And since I was going to have a drink with some friends, I wrote him like, I'm going out, I talk to you later. But then when I was having a drink with friends, I saw the whole message, and the last part said that my mind and my soul, whatever, is not on, I'm not feeling I'm all in.
Ah.
So I got a little emotional elevator. I was like, oh, I didn't read everything. And then the next day I wrote him that I didn't want to talk about the relationship. I want, like I said, because we have this talk, I wanted to have the relationship. It's not what you say, but what you do. And if, yes, everything's special, we are special. That's why I'm taking the time to write you all this. And then I sent him like a quote that said, everything will fall into place or something like that, because I like to send quotes. And then I told him, if after all of this you don't want this, I won't agree, but I will respect that. And then he only heard the code I sent, and he didn't say anything. So that's why I raised his number, because I know myself, and then I will, reach back, because sometimes you think the best way is to reach back and talk again or have a fight or something. But now that I know that I'm like that, I just erased his number and said, well, I have nothing more to say. I already said everything. And then I felt really guilty that the text was really long. I was feeling guilty. I was saying, I should wait more to calm down, but I couldn't. I was like, and that's it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen and what you can expect and what you can do once it does happen, and certainly what you do in the meantime. I trust you're enjoying Make Him Wonder, and that you're getting a lot of helpful information for the life of love you desire and deserve. So if you're not part of the 80/20 Wonder Club yet, you need to be, because now Make Him Wonder is exclusive, a members-only club to listen to every episode, past, present, and future, in full, all ad-free. The 80/20 Wonder Club is a Make Him Wonder membership that gives you all of seasons 1, 2, and 3 in a categorized list by age and relationship status, and a multimedia library of my content, including my book, Relationship Evals, and my Mechanics of Men Mindset Manual, a weekly action step you can focus on to attract and keep the man of your dreams, and have him committing to you completely in the coming months. Make this the moment you start living as an 80/20 Wonder Woman, because love, like life, is best lived in 80/20. When you do 80% of what works with men, the 20% you don't won't much matter. Join the 80/20 Wonder Club by going to the 8020wonder.club. Don't miss out. Go now to the 8020wonder.club. You and your man will be glad you did. First, I want to tell you that I hope you will not feel anything but good about how you handled things. In this situation, there was really little you could do. This isn't about you. It's about where he is with things in his life and his own inner confusion and just being male. Yes, we can say what would have been helpful is to right away, when we find something on the man's phone, say, I'm shocked at this. When we discussed being exclusive, I took you at your word, and now I see that's not the case. That really doesn't work for me. That's not okay. And so I'm going, and you leave. Okay, that didn't happen, and I believe everything happens for a reason here. He got to see more of who you really are under pressure. From the time you went for the coffee, you see the ex-mother-in-law, you handled yourself beautifully there. He got to see that you are not a fighter like he may have had in the past, and I think you won a lot of points for who you are. Here's the big unfortunate reality of that. You actually put yourself more in a position of being relationship material. You showed, I'm someone with whom you can go the distance. I don't fly off the handle. I do compose myself and understand where you are with things, etc. That's an extremely positive thing in terms of showing yourself to be relationship material. However, when the man is not ready yet because of other things, no matter how much he sees your value as that, he cannot step up to the plate. So what men do is they do what we do with the puppies, which is, if I can't adopt it now, the right thing to do is to let the wonderful little thing get adopted by somebody else. And men are willing to take that risk, which is hard for us to understand, because for us, men are not puppies. And when we care for one, it's rare, it's special, it's something to foster, to keep. But because men love us like we love puppies, they know it's the right thing to do despite their feelings. And the feelings are confusing for the man. I'm hearing that he really started to feel for you. And what happens for a man is, I'm feeling these things that are pushing me towards a relationship, and she is showing herself to be relationship material. So that means relationship. He was still looking at all the puppies on Bumble and amusing himself and self-soothing with that. So he was getting confused with, no, I can't do what's right in adopting this puppy, so I just want to allow it to be adopted by somebody else, and I will cut off my feelings. That's when you got, I'm not feeling it, because you were relating to him more on the relationship level. So he immediately just cuts it off and distances himself from it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's what happened. Okay, you accepted it and you went no contact. Great. Because he's not ready. He is being male, and for a man, everything has to be set up quite right, ready for the relationship. And while it's great that he has been divorced for 3 years, he is one of those men because the child is young, he is wrestling with getting into anything else towards a relationship, even though he is, quote unquote, a relationship kind of guy. We know he is. He committed in marriage before. He had a child with someone. The mixed messages you were getting are very hard to decipher. Almost impossible when you are in it. You must have felt like you didn't really understand anything from one day to the next. He's showing you one thing one day and another thing the next. Is that how you felt?
Yes, that was totally my feeling, that I was totally confused by it.
Very confusing. So give yourself a lot of points for how you handled things, especially in light of what was going on in your own life with your mom. But here's the good news. Because you handled things in the way that you did, and you set things up to be seen as full relationship material, he will be back when he is ready. Now, I say this because you have set it up very well. You went no contact. There's been no contact. And he put you in the Madonna category, meaning wife, mother, relationship material, girl. Until he can provide that, he will not do it. It doesn't mean that he may not reach out to you in a moment of weakness. I always tell women who are working with me in my Lure Him Back program, we have to be very careful of the first reach out, which could come in 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. We have to vet that reach out. Most of the time, we need to... Wondering what I'm going to tell Adele she needs to do when Rafael first reaches out? In the rest of this episode, I outline for Adele exactly what she needs to do when Rafael first reaches out and what she must do in the meantime to stay positive, as well as to move forward with her life, knowing that she can get what it is that she wants. And because I want you to get what you desire and deserve in your love life, I invite you to check out the 80/20 80-20 Wonder Club, where you can hear the rest of this episode with Adele and so much more. The 80-20 Wonder Club is an exclusive membership-only club of the Make Him Wonder podcast, where you will get over 200 ad-free episodes categorized by age and relationship status, just like this one, plus all new episodes the moment they're formatted and ready to be aired. Unfiltered coaching conversations with all my advice and principles to have you succeeding in your romantic life. The 80-20 Wonder Club includes my Making Magic with Men Mindset Manual, a video series of mindset and mechanics practices for you to do at your own pace. Join monthly and cancel at any time, or save by committing to a 6 or 12-month membership. And not only will you save by committing to more, you'll receive a full coaching intensive experience where you'll be talking to me in a conversation like you just heard. You choose the date anytime during your 12 months, and you'll be talking to me in one of my program calls so you can experience what it is to work with me. And with any membership, you get access to being on an audio-only anonymous call with me on one of my YouTube lives. There are so many options for talking to me, so you can more easily create the relationship of your dreams and level up to the complete commitment you totally deserve. Check it out at the 8020wonder.club and join us, as that is the only way you'll be able to hear the rest of what I tell Adele she needs to implement and practice so she stays positive about Rafael while staying present in her life for the possibility of new love as well. Don't miss out on how to make your man wonder in the right way to have the divine right results you want in your life, how to maintain the right mindset, and how to manifest the Mr. Right who does right by you. Go now to THE8020WONDER.CLUB. That's the 8020wonder.club. You and your love will be glad you did.